America got its independence from Britain, black people still were slaves.
And things changed today. 30 years ago, I was dealing with the black mamas. You know, look at the daddies now.
You know, I feel like that's a narrative that people have been using for a long time to try to attack me and my character.
Yo, what it do? Welcome back to another episode of BUA. I'm your host, Hayru Adamu. Here we talk business, politics, war, love, and everything in between. So tonight, we're starting with a story that demands attention, the death of Nolan Xavier. But beyond the tragedy itself, we have to look at how these situations are presented to the public, because too often, the story that we're told is not the full story.
Family of a black teen in Mississippi, they want answers as to why their son is dead, and the group of white friends he went out with on the 4th of July weekend all returned home safely. A park ranger found the body of 18-year-old Nolan Wells on the coast of Horn Island on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi this morning. Nolan's mother, Christine Wansley, confirmed the finding of her son on Facebook, asking that everyone give her and her family time to grieve. Nolan was a recent graduate of Ocean Springs High School and a football player at Southwest Mississippi Community College. He was last seen with 3 of his friends on the island at around 3 p.m. local time on Saturday before he went missing. Authorities have not released details about what led to Nolan's disappearance. The circumstances surrounding his death remain under investigation. Now, what happened was his cell phone was found, but he was missing, and his friends could not articulate as to what happened. When did they last see him? And so, again, lots of questions are being raised here. The family sent out notices over the weekend. They were demanding for folks to assist them with finding their son. And again, no one could say what happened.
Well. Another black person out on vacation during the 4th of July weekend of all weekends and ends up missing. What a surprise. So, I mean, the initial narrative, it shapes the public opinion because we don't have any facts. And every time this happens, like, we don't know what's going on with this kid. We don't know where he's at. All we have is a cell phone. But it's one of the biggest stories in media right now because it causes division. And a lot of the black community is saying you have to go in twos. You got to have the buddy system. You can't be, alone with these whites at the end of the day. I mean, and that's the narrative that's being pushed. And I think that's what they want. I mean, these things happen. There's been so many different lynchings over the last 12 months. And I mean, it's kind of true that you can't really be the only token black with these whites and feel safe at the end of the day. I mean, it's just not safe. So the black community, they're becoming more aware and more aware. But why do these stories make the headlines? Like, don't you think if these stories made the headlines, it would make blacks more integrated and want to do their own thing and be more cautious and boycott more and spend more money with their own communities and kind of stay with themselves? It really doesn't. You're going to hear another story about something like this probably next week because all it does, it just puts more fear in black people. So because all of those kids, they're all lawyered up already. So I think the family has raised $100,000 for their attorney, which is a black attorney that's supposed to defend Nolan in this case to try to do an investigation to figure out what's happened. But again, nobody knows what really happened. So it kind of leaves us in this limbo situation, just like a couple of weeks ago with the girl who went to Tanzania with her white fiance and she ended up missing and nobody knows. Even to this day, nobody knows. These stories hit the headlines and we don't know what happens. This story will go away in a couple of weeks and we might never hear about this again. Nobody knows what happened to Nolan, because these kids are protected under the law. And had this been the reversal, had it been a white kid with a bunch of black kids and his body ended up missing and they found his cell phone only, all of those kids would be in prison. So at the end of the day, yeah, you gotta just kind of separate yourself. You gotta have segregation. Integration is not good. You got to segregate yourself from these people. Have your own schools, institution, have your own holidays. even like this holiday, the 4th of July, there's plenty of black kids that go to these all white schools and they feel like they're more safe than going to these black schools. But you have so many incidents like this that happen every single week and so many different lynchings. A lot of people believe he was lynched or he was killed, you know, not even by the necessarily his friends, but they should come out front and say what happened. Like, why don't we know what happened yet? Why is this big media when we don't know what happened? So across the countries, there's been multiple suspicious deaths and violent incidents involving black individuals that don't receive sustained attention or investigation. So they're going to do a light investigation and it's going to be over with and we're never going to hear about this ever again. And this is going to keep going on and on and on until black people realize like, yo, like they're really trying to kill us and they just don't. Even if those kids didn't kill him, right? It's not even about that. It's about how the media is portraying this to use it for division, and there's going to be a lack of investigation, and nobody's going to get in trouble. Like, that's the thing. So we're not here to assume. We're just here to stay aware because these stories, they fade away quickly. I'm talking about you will literally forget about this next week. People already forgot about the Asian boycott just that fast. So it's on us to keep asking questions and do our own investigation. So I'm glad they did get a black attorney on it. They do need to hire black investigators to do this because you can't let white investigators do it, you know? So this is the type of situations that we're in. Next up, we're talking about a different kind of athlete, Jaylen Brown. He's not just elite on the court, he's elite mentally. And when you combine talent and intelligence and independence, sometimes that creates tension in places that expect control.
I agree with everything Demar he said in his video.
I can stand up for myself, which I've been doing. You know, I feel like that's a narrative that people have been using for a long time to try to attack me and my character. I could rebuttal. But what I really want to say to this is we got to stop with the anonymous. We got to stop with the anonymous sources, chat. Like, I'm tired of these damn anonymous sources. He's like anonymous executive, anonymous source, Colin Coward, Bobby Marks, Stephen A. Smith. Anonymous sources is saying anything. I think y'all are the sources. And if not, y'all shouldn't even say it if it's something that's this ridiculous. But we gotta stop. Like, at one point, this is a part of the reason why I started streaming in the first place, because they use anonymous sources to hide behind how they actually feel, or to hide behind things that could be controversial, or to hide behind things that are, are examples of bigotry. So this is an example of one, but this is not the first time. Stephen A. Smith said the same thing a couple years ago. He was like, it's not me. This is our anonymous source. And Bobby Marks said the same, it's not me. It's my anonymous source. Colin Coward said the same thing, it's not me. It's my anonymous source. But they don't see how much damage that can do. And now I gotta answer questions to, like, my character and being attacked. This is my life. Keep it basketball. Nobody has a problem. Yeah, people think I have a problem with people critiquing my performance. Critique my performance all you want.
Yeah.
But the line gets crossed. And then they want to act like the line doesn't get crossed.
Jaylen Brown has recently been traded to the 76ers, and there's been a lot of conversations going around that the front office didn't like his attitude, that he believed he was the smartest person in the room, and that anytime an athlete starts streaming, it's just bad news. So Jaylen Brown, he attended UC Berkeley, took advanced level courses, and consistently showed interest in economics, politics, business, war, love, and everything that we talk about on BUA. So he speaks at major institutions like Harvard, MIT. He invests in education. He invests in youth programs. He uses his platform for awareness. When he signed his $300 million contract, he said he was going to build black wealth, and he mentioned Black Wall Street and rebuilding that. So there's been a target on his back ever since, ever since he really took a step to be an intelligent, black, educated, conscious athlete. There's been a target on his back from the media and coons like Stephen A. Smith, who should be on his side. And as you can see here, his front office. Jaylen Brown is one of the best players in the NBA. He's one of the highest paid players in the NBA. And they're saying that his teammates don't like him. And they're just creating all type of narratives that actually do take away money from him. And they actually do affect his career. He has his own shoe. He turned down $50 million from various shoe brands to do his own shoe so that he can have independence. And what he stands for is black independence. And this is a problem. He's an outspoken aware, conscious black athlete who actually has a great performance. So when black athletes speak about awareness and independence, the conversation it shifts from praise to criticism. And this is a huge problem. Jaylen Brown is actually one of my favorite players, just like Kyrie Irving, because it's not just about how you play as a black athlete. It's about who you are and what you speak out about. Jaylen Brown, he represents evolution. You know, he represents not just playing the game, but understanding every level of this and what happens when you're in a position of power and when you need to take leadership. So we really need to have Jaylen Brown's back in this situation. I personally think he already has enough money. A lot of these guys, like, once you make $300 million, just to say, you know, you cut that in half because of taxes, fees, right? You know, agent fees and everything else, right? And it's $150 million. You already have enough money. You have $150 million. You have enough money to go make billions of dollars. You just need to be financially literate. Like, it's not like you're making $2 million as a rookie for a 2-year contract and you only have $1 million. Like, you have $150 million. You don't have to play for these folks no more. But these guys love the game. It's like, you could play in any league. You don't have to play for the American League. You can play for another league. You can create your own league. You can partner with Ice Cube and do another league. Like, you could do anything. You have $150 million and you're literate. Like, you can go do something else. You know, but I don't know. Like, these guys love to play basketball. They want to continue to play, and I get it. But Jaylen Brown, he's an example of somebody that's in a position that's literate enough to just walk away and really start his own league, start his own thing. You don't have to play for these and actually, you know, make things right. Because I just watched Glory Road the other day. Like, blacks weren't even allowed to play in this league. You know, blacks weren't even, they had to play in the ABA. They had to be Harlem Globetrotters. We had to fight to even play in the NBA. Only once they felt like they can now monetize the black athlete, which the black man has always been used for his body and never his mind. That's when they started letting blacks play in the league. So Jaylen Brown, he's a big threat to that program. Now, that gets us into the 4th of July, which just passed this weekend. While many were celebrating, it's important to take a step back and ask, what does this day actually represent for black people?
It's a good weekend, man. This weekend coming up, 4th of July weekend. Y'all got any plans for 4th of July? What y'all doing?
I know one thing.
Cookout.
I know one nigga that's gonna have glizzies in his prizzy. I know that for a fact. Glizzies on the grill.
Copper, where you buy them shits at?
It's feeling like Band Pain and Brab Legs.
Bam, Bane, and Brab Legs.
I'm with it.
It's time.
But you definitely eat them glizzies. You ate them glizzies in the hood.
Who?
I don't recall us.
You did, bro.
Let's do it Friday
mustard.
night. I gotta leave on 4th.
On Friday, you want to do it?
Yeah.
Friday night?
Word. What's up?
Cribbington?
Bring in the 4th.
Word, bro.
At the Cribbington?
Word.
We doing
Let's
it
do
Friday
that.
then.
Yeah, Saturday I gotta go to North Carolina. With
When you come back.
Come back on
Called Lighthouse.
Monday, I think.
But you know what, though? As a black man, though, I'm not sure if we should be celebrating 4th of July after we just come off a
Celebrate
strong,
everything else?
No, we just came off a strong Juneteenth, understanding what it is.
So we got to make a stand-up
history.
curve in July
We are
4th?
still American.
We got to curve July 4th now?
We not American?
But see, the problem with
Are
the
we
history.
not
Hold on,
a
let me
fucking
hold on,
American?
nigga. Hold on, nigga. I'm gonna answer the question the way I'm gonna answer it. You relax. Check this out. 4th of July is the independence of America from Britain, right?
Yeah.
Nigga,
wrong
is you
with
American
celebrating
or
that?
not, nigga?
Where was you
what
born
the fuck
in
is you
America?
talking about,
But here's
nigga?
the
You ain't
thing.
kick no knowledge
all
right
born
there,
in
nigga. What the
America.
fuck
When
was
you
that?
trying to kick knowledge?
Hold on for a second. You relax, nigga.
When America got its independence from Britain, black people still were slaves.
So
True.
what?
So we wasn't
Was you a
independent.
slave?
Let me ask you this. Have you ever
Was
bought
you a
fireworks?
slave, nigga?
Yeah.
Or was you
I
born
had.
free in
So
America?
You trying to...
I'm just
He's
saying.
educated now.
I'm
You
educated
off
now.
that now? I'm not mad at what you're saying, but
You
you
understand?
saying
Yeah, I
as
respect it, but
You saying as a general whole, as a
General, the
population,
history of black people,
we should
generally,
curve the 4th?
should we? The question is,
So
should
then we
we?
should curve Christmas?
Should we?
curve
Should
mad
we?
holidays?
No, let's deal with one at a time. Understanding the history of that particular holiday.
You keep doing this, man.
It's the celebration
You keep
of
doing it.
independence.
You keep doing
This
this.
man on Luther,
You
King.
keep doing
It's not
this.
about
He getting
Black
different
people
moves.
were still
We're
slaves.
not part
That
of the
is
nation.
true. That is true.
This man
But
on
that's
Luther
not what the
King right now.
holiday
He's
is
getting
about. The
different
holiday
moves.
isn't about
Were
that. The
slaves
holiday
part
is
of the
about
nations too?
No, they were slaves.
the
So they
the
wasn't part
holiday
of
is
the
about
nation?
No,
our
they couldn't do
independence
nothing.
from
They had no
Britain.
rights.
So were you a slave?
We're not talking about me. We generally speaking
Yeah,
about
but you
for
want
black
us
people.
to stop
what should we do on the
celebrating this
4th?
4th of July.
Turn his mic off real quick.
Because you're confusing the people.
No, we're
Man.
not. We giving the people some game.
What
some
should we do on the
understanding.
4th then?
Understanding about what? So what should we
If you
celebrate?
let me answer.
Should we just
maybe I
dub
can do
that
it.
day as a holiday?
Yeah, like, what are you
I'm
talking
putting it
about?
out there. The question was, I didn't say I'm not celebrating it. I said, should we still be
I
celebrating?
think we should. I think we can. I think it's,
You're not allowed to
it's
champagne
to
and
each his
crab
own.
legs.
I heard enough. God bless. God bless. Mano is the only halfway conscious person on this show. I mean, I've never even watched this show, but like Dave East and Jim Jones, what are y'all talking about? So in 1976, black people were still enslaved. So the idea of freedom isn't for everyone. That's just clear as day. Why are they even arguing with him? Like, think about this. This is why you cannot let celebrities talk. Like, celebrities should not speak. The only thing they should do is go to the booth, make music, and they should barely not even do that. They shouldn't even get that opportunity because all they do is perpetuate bullshit and put out degenerate bullshit to the youth so they can grow up and be dumbasses too. Like, this should be pissing me off. Like, it's almost like I was like looking at this like, are they just like playing like devil's advocate? Are they trying to like just piss him off? But they're serious. Fabulous said, I think we should celebrate it because it's not about slavery. It's about the 4th of July. You got to understand what a holiday even is. A holiday is a stimulus package for the economy. Billions of dollars are made on holidays. Valentine's Day, Christmas, Halloween. These are all pagan holidays that were created to stimulate the economy. They don't understand this because they're idiots. That's why they're rappers and they're in positions they're in the limelight so they can, confuse the shit out of the youth to thinking that they got all the jewelry on and all this shit. But they're like, why can't we celebrate the 4th of July? You don't need to celebrate the 4th of July. They make it seem like this is some shit that's being taken away from them. Like, I want to celebrate the 4th of July. I want to have a hot dog. And it's like, bro, what do you need the 4th of July for? Like Christmas, you know how many PlayStations are sold on Christmas? You know how much money Walmart makes and how much money like these designer stores make on Christmas? They make billions of dollars. That's what a holiday is. But black people, they're miseducated. They don't know what a holiday is. They think it's just a day to just celebrate. It's not a day to just celebrate. It's a day that stimulates the game of Monopoly that we're playing here. Except for when we started playing the game of Monopoly, black people didn't have any money in the game. That is what capitalism is. That's why it sucks to be a conscious person on a holiday because you actually understand what all of this shit really is and what it really means. So true empowerment, it comes from understanding history and deciding which one aligns with yours. We got to have our own holidays. You cannot be celebrating other people's holidays because it stimulates their economy, which they're going to use to oppress you in the end of the day. So these guys right here, these are those like Dave East and Jim Jones. They're them like halfway, not even black people to begin with. Like they're I'm Dominican Republic, I'm Afro-Latino type motherfuckers. Like they're the real problem. Like they really don't want to be black at all. So you can't really worry about them at the end of the day. But that shit just pisses me off just listening to them like really fight for the white man's holiday. They want to fight for it. It's like, why would you even fight for it? Like if Mano said, he just asked a question, should we be celebrating it? They're sitting there fighting him. It's like, if you want to celebrate it, bro, just go over there and celebrate it. Like nobody's holding you back. Like, but what are you fighting for it? So for our final conversation, we're talking about something that's being shaped by perception more than reality. The role of black fathers in the household.
But the ability to be upfront with these parents. And things changed today. 30 years ago, I was dealing with the black mamas, Look at the daddies now. Most of these kids come from two-parent families. And my dad coached all his career in segregation. You know, you didn't have a lot of help. Now, it was the mamas with 4 babies or 4 kids struggling to pay rent, and the AAU coach grabbed the kid and made all the decisions. You know, some of it was to his benefit. But now, the black fathers are heavily involved, and the black mother, and they're successful. So I've seen that scale go up and down so much, and that's why I think a lot of these kids choose the schools they choose because they're looking for discipline.
So shout out to Kelvin Sampson, coaching the #1 school in the country at U of H. He's put together a great program and really turned everything around. So I think this was an important conversation because the top 10 NBA draft picks this year, they all took a picture with both of their parents. And that old narrative of making it out the hood, out the projects with the single baby mama on welfare and making it to the NBA and buying your mama a car and a house and stuff like that, that narrative is starting to diminish. And I think a lot of these times, these NBA players were put in that position because of that situation. Because of their position and that they didn't have a father, they were pushed more to the forefront for that narrative. And I think in today's time, you have such a dynasty game in basketball that a lot of these kids' fathers played professional, at least D1 or overseas at least, you know. So it kind of takes that, and it takes some guidance and some confidence building along the way. But the top 10 picks, they all had their father with them. It wasn't like Kevin Durant or LeBron James who had their strong black mom, you know, pushing them and they had to make it to the NBA or they were going to go to jail, like Allen Iverson narrative. But I mean, Allen Iverson, he had his father as well here and there and stuff. But it's just like the narrative that's being put out. You know, this widespread idea that black fathers are absent when really black fathers are more present than any other race combined. I'll say that again. Black fathers are more present in their children's life than any other race combined. But there's a narrative that black fathers are not there. When really it's just black women have more children than black men. So they may be in that situation. But when you look at the whole thing, you look at the totality of the situation, a lot of black fathers and stepfathers, black stepfathers step up to the table more than any other race combined. So they don't even calculate all of that. They're talking about their actual father. But like a father figure, like he said, even an AAU coach or something like that, black men step up to the plate to father children more than any other race combined. And the black fathers that are there for their children, they spend more quality time with their children than any other race. So there's this narrative being pushed out so that black women can hate black men, of course, so that we can't be powerful because we're super powerful. So we have to tell our own stories because if we don't, they'll be told for us. So shout out to Kelvin Sampson, whose father coached in segregation, and he's been through these type of things, and they understand what's going on. And we need strong black coaches like Kelvin Sampson to be coaching these kids. Like even like I said earlier with Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson got into a fight his senior year. He went to jail. If it wasn't for that coach at Georgetown to pick him up, a strong black coach, Allen Iverson might have never been Allen Iverson. So we got to have black teachers that teach our kids, black coaches, black attorneys, people that can tell our story, black media professionals that control the media, black owners, you know. So you find strength in the presence and leadership when you have ownership. So we need to control our own narrative. It's Harold Damu